Human Resources Committee meeting, Monday the 21st of October 2024. May I please have authorisation to sign the minutes of the previous meetings of the HR Committee held on the 15th of April and the 20th of May 2024 as correct records of the proceedings. Am I being authorised to do that? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, apologies and substitutes. Louise.
Apology received from Councillor Hacking, Chair.
Thank you. And no name substitutes, no.
No.
Any additional agenda items?
No, there are none, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Disclosure of interests and dispensations. Receive any disclosures by members of disclosable pecuniary interest, other registrable interests, non-registrable interests in matters of the agenda, and the nature of any interest and details of any dispensations obtained. Members are reminded of the need to repeat their declaration immediately prior to the commencement of the item in question. Take it there aren't any. So we're welcoming, hold on a second, right, yes, Councillor Vicky Cook.
Yeah, I just wondered if you were going to acknowledge which committee members were online.
I hadn't quite got round to that, but thank you for reminding me.
Thank you.
Yes, looking to welcome those on the committee who can't attend this evening, and that's Councillor Cook and Councillor J1. Nice to see you, Ash. Nice to see you, Vicky. Right. Rother District Council Fit for the Future programme, People Strategy. I would just like to add on the basis this, I think, is the 5th HR meeting since it's taking over from the Licenses and General Purpose Committee. Yeah, and I think it's, as a vehicle, as a going forward, I think it's been a very, very useful way of dealing with the issues that we need to be dealt with. And I think we've been very fortunate in having the input from Tim Normanton, the People Programme Manager, who's been able to bring so much of this forward to us. And thank you very much, Tim, for all the work you've done. So, agenda item 5, the Rother District Council Fit for the Future programme, People Strategy. This is the report of the Chief Executive, supported by Tim Norman, the People Programme Manager. So I'll allow you to move forward on it, if I may, Tim.
Thank you, Chair. Committee will note that there are a number of items to be noted in here, and the key message is the previous committee heard what we were seeking to achieve with the programme this year. So this report is really confirming the commitment that we made in spring this year. We have delivered in the main. There are some areas which we are addressing in a different way, but broadly what we said we would do has been done. Most notably here, we are sharing with you the workforce plan for the District Council. So that was one of the key deliverables of the People programme. So what we now want to do is transition from additional support into business as usual, ongoing continuous improvement for the HR agenda here at Rother District. So in terms of the highlights of the report, point 4 indicates some of those areas where we didn't quite make the progress that we had intended, particularly around workforce development, workforce data and policy review. The implementation of a new HR and payroll system at the start of next year will address the workforce data challenges that we have had. Workforce development will very much flow from workforce planning, and there will be some work on policies in the next few weeks, so that by the end of the year, the priorities that have been identified in terms of policy, we will have made a start on. I think it's important to highlight the contribution of the People Strategy Working Group. So cross-section of colleagues very much shaped the People Strategy, the action plan, and informed our approach to workforce planning. And indeed, the approach to workforce planning that we proposed in the spring was not the one we took forwards Following engagement and consultation with Unison, we adopted the Local Government Association model of workforce planning, and that's what we've utilised with senior managers across the organisation to produce the workforce plan today. We are asking committee to note the workforce plan, to approve the integration of workforce planning into service planning moving forwards, and making that a single exercise for managers in the organisation, and for the agenda really to be taken forwards by the newly appointed Head of Corporate and Strategic Services, who's accountable for the Human Resources team for the District Council. I think those are the key points. Chair, happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Tim. Perhaps, David, would you like to make any observations as to the work that's been done? Because I understand there was the People Strategy Working Group, which perhaps you were a member of, and the work that has been done around this. And all the work that has come forward in this plan is as a result of consultation and working with our workforce. Any observations or anything you'd like to add on that at this stage?
Thank you. No, I haven't actually been involved directly with a working group, but several members of the Unison team have been, and they've contributed considerably, I think, to both the group and to the proposals that we've had as a result of that coming forwards. But nothing further to add at this time, other than my appreciation to everyone who's done things.
Okay, thanks for that. Are there any other questions? Anybody got a question of Tim at this stage? That we've got options that we need to agree upon this evening, and I think that how many of you have been able to read through all the documentation there, but there's a significant amount of work that's gone into this, and I think it's really making us as an organisation really fit for the future. Massive changes going on. Historically, there's been massive changes that we've had to fit into, and with devolution and other things coming forward, we've got to be in a position where we can respond to whatever changes that are out there. So I believe we need to identify the committee to consider, as a result of option one, we do nothing, and then I would query why we've been doing this in the first place. Note that the workforce plan approve the integration of workforce planning into the service planning framework and approve the people strategy to be delivered by the corporate and strategic services team working with the senior leadership and council leadership teams. Or option three, as an option with the addition of commissioning further external support. I believe that there is a recommendation. Tim, would you just like to talk us through the recommendation, please? Yes,
thank you, Chair. So there is absolutely the option to take no further action on this agenda, but I think, as you quite rightly highlighted, there is a great deal of organisational change, and as a council, there is an opportunity to make the most of the workforce, which hasn't perhaps been realised historically, so that would not be recommended moving forwards. Option three would be to spend more money, fundamentally, on delivering this agenda. And I think we are at the point where actually it is right and proper that officers integrate this into the day job rather than further external expense. So option two then becomes the right balance in terms of having accelerated the agenda to a point where it is now to transition into the day job for the corporate and strategic service team. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Tim. I think it's interesting when you read on in under 12, 13 and 14, these additional work that's being undertaken in order to it gives support to staff in every respect. So I think this is something that is quite new. So I think that this is something that we've worked together with the staff side. They've identified that, and we've got to get our communications out so that people can be fully aware of what these systems are and what is available. Did anyone else want to make any comment on that, or if somebody can propose the fact that we go forward with option two? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Eleanor. Thank you, Teresa. So we can vote on that, and presumably we are in agreement. Is that where we need to be on this now? I don't think there's anything else that we want to deal with. These options are clearly marked out on page 6. Tim, anything else to add? Right, thank you for that. And I must admit, going through a lot of the information that was provided here, it was the ability to collect it all together, and I'm sure that if any of that, by way of isolation, it was there, but to have it all in one appendix like this is really quite interesting, you know, that we've got this 270 staff. We have a payroll of 11 million. We're serving almost 100,000 customers. You know, it is a business, and we can only be successful on that business by working in a very, very timely and organised way going forward. And this brings us to where we needed to be. Right, so I think we've now got to agenda item 7, where I believe we are going to exclusion of the press. Yep. I'll read this out. Do you want me to read it out? Yes, okay, thank you. So the following item, exclusion of press and public... Sorry? I'm afraid you are, David. Yeah. Okay, well, do have a nice evening. Thank you for coming. Okay. So the following item, which we're about to discuss in close council, is exempt from publication by virtue of Part 1 of the Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972, as amended. It's recommended that the press and public be excluded. The relevant paragraph of section Schedule 12A indicating the nature of the exempt information is stated after the item is reproduced in full at the end of the agenda. In the circumstances of the case, it is considered that the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosing the information. I trust we're all in agreement to the... thank you for that. Okay, so we're out of the confidential session and the meeting will now be closed. Louise, at what time?
1907. 1907.
1907, thank you very much. And thank you for those online that have joined us this evening.